Alright, chapter 3 of my epic saga of, I think it's 3. Was it? I don't fucking know. Anyway, chapter whatever it is of the job saga of the jobs I've had. So after Jewel, I took a brief break to try to go to college. It didn't work, so I ended up working at Goodwill after that. And Goodwill's a bit of a strange place because you don't really meet too many unhinged weirdos there, but you get stuff donated in and you look through the stuff and you start thinking, well, you know what? I think that guy might be a serial killer. You get in donated and the guy donates like a mysterious black bag and it smells funny and there's a liquid drooling out of it and you're just like, I think I'm going to go ahead and let the cops take care of this one. That didn't happen to me, but I didn't work there for very long, so maybe it did happen eventually. Um, some of the stuff you get is just unhinged. So one time it was a 50-gallon tote, like a plastic box, filled to the overfilled with nutcrackers. There must have been like 1,500 of these fucking things in there. And it's like, what headspace does a person need to be in? Like, how low do you have to sink in this corporeal realm that you need to have that many nutcrackers? I mean, it's weird enough having more than one. It kind of establishes you as like a social pariah, as possibly a murderer if you have like 7 or 8 of them. But you get a tote. Maybe that's the victims. That's what it is. It was a wizard, all right? And they turned their victims into nutcrackers and they gave it to me. That was I got very bored working there. That's what happens when I get bored. I start thinking about wizards. So another one that I get in, someone donated a book and it was like a picture book, like an artsy thing. And so I'm like, all right, I'll take a look in this. I'm bored. I should probably be working, but screw that. I'll take a look in this. Open it up. Completely full of pictures of naked men. And I'm just like, well, all right. There goes the rest of my day. We're getting into the good stuff now. They wouldn't sell it. The manager wouldn't let me sell it. So, another one that I found, another weird thing, slightly less weird than that. It's a playing card deck, but all the characters on the cards were characters from the Iraq War. Why though? Why? Like it had like one of the kings was Saddam and another one was like George Bush Sr. and like there were generals in there and stuff like that. They're just like the actual pictures of the people and it's just like did somebody at some point, they're like drunk, they're sitting at the table, with some of their friends and the guy's like, it would be a good idea, homies, playing cards about Desert Storm. And they made it too. That's the wild part. So, I mean, I guess there's no reason that it shouldn't exist, but it's just mind blowing that it does exist. And it's like another time, not at Goodwill, but this was at a barn sale I went to. I found one of those Russian doll things, the wooden one where you open it up and there's a smaller one in there. But it was painted, so the big one was painted like Bin Laden, and you open it up, and then Saddam is in there, and you open that one up, and like Mussolini's in there. All right, and it just goes through all the dictators and stuff. Like I think Ivan the Terrible was in there, and it's like, why? What's the thought process behind that? Like someone didn't get out of their house very often, and they had this stuff sitting around, and they're just like, what would be a good idea? That I should take dictators and turn them into a Russian. It was the same wizard. Maybe that was it. The one that turned people into nutcrackers. It turned these dictators into that. So, who is the target audience for that? Who is this person trying to sell that to? Not me, because I didn't buy it. But Anyway, back on topic though, at Goodwill, a lot of the stuff you get there is kind of just trash usually. Sometimes literally. I had a guy who sent in a bunch of um, bags of clothes, like trash bags full of clothes. And this true genius, this fucking waste of space, decided to put actual trash bags in with it. So I open one up and it's just actual garbage in there. And so what I did after that is I found the guy's license plate and I tracked him down and I went into his house and I very carefully placed a Lego underneath his computer chair so that when he stood up, his foot, and it was one of those like one block no, I didn't do that. But um yeah, so occasionally you get some idiots like that, but so, and most of the time it's just boring stuff. There's like a box inside of all the books you get, and like half the time I'm just pretending to look busy, and the other half of the time the manager's not there, so I'm just reading the books and just scrolling around because why not? So sometimes I get in the morning, and you're not supposed to dump stuff there unless there's someone working there, but you'll get someone who just they gotta get in there and they gotta get going. So they just show up and they'll discreetly, like they're trying to drop the payload, they're trying to drop the ransom money or something like that. So they're looking around, they got the bag over the shoulder, like they're Krampus, and they've got the bag of children there, and they're just dropping. I don't even confront them at that point because it's just like I'm getting paid minimum wage for this. Uh, for all I know, I go up to confront the person, and they pull out a chainsaw, and I end up on like a true crime video on YouTube. So I'm just not risking it. Go ahead and dump your go ahead and dump your body there if you want to. I'm getting paid minimum wage for this. So yeah, not a whole lot really happened there. Occasionally you get furniture in, and occasionally you get stuff that you can't take, and they'll get all pissy about that. Like, I can't take, for example, weapons, obviously, and you'd be surprised how often that comes up. Like, someone will show up and they'll be upset that they won't take their fucking 50 cal howitzer off their hands or something like that. Sometimes it's cool stuff, like they'll have a sword and I'll be like, you know what, I'd take that. And the person will be, oh, you want it? And I'm like, well, no, because that'd be weird and I'll get fired. But maybe though. One time a person donated a chair, and I thought the chair was pretty good because I was sitting in it when I was supposed to be working. And so I came back later that day and I got the chair, and it sits on the front porch, and I don't use it very often because it gets too cold out in the winter time. So yeah, not a total loss. I got a chair. So that's pretty much it. Not a whole lot happened at Goodwill. Most of the time I was just screwing around. At some point, I got bored enough that I decided to keep a tally, like on notes. So I keep a tally based on how many men and women came in, because why not? I'm bored. So there's like men, women, and then a question mark because some people came in and you're just like, I don't know what this is, but I'm not taking any chances in today's society. I don't need to get canceled on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter, but they'll track me down and find me. If so, I don't know what happened to it, and I don't remember what the results were, so it was kind of pointless, but I don't know, it was boring. Goodwill, I was only there for a couple of months, so it wasn't all that thrilling. But yeah, most of my clothes shopping is done there too. So yeah, that's pretty much all that was.